Good morning. Today we're going to talk about boats. Here's one of my boats. Isn't it a beauty? All right, there. Now we got past that. Yes, I've had boats. We have 5 boats. Um, we had 3 small boats and we had 2 very large boats with bedrooms and kitchen and bathrooms, and it was fantastic. I love boating, and you would too. But yeah, some of the things that happened, pretty cool. I ran out of gas with a big boat and had to be towed in by a very tiny fishing boat. Those people loved that. They thought that was the greatest thing in the world. And I sank 2 boats. One, we sank I had 3 big boats. Whoa, yeah, 3 big boats and 2 small boats. That's what it was. Okay. So anyway, one of the big boats was it was a wooden boat, Trojan, about 25 feet, I think, and it got caught in some seaweed when we were pulling into our camp, and it ripped the bottom of the boat out. Of course, seaweed was about this big around, so it was like rope, and it would have destroyed any boat. But I didn't even know it was there, and then the state came in and they had to fix all that lake, and and help me pay for getting the boat pulled up out of the water and transferred to a marina so they could fix it. Yeah, that was a hell of a day. I was throwing my kids off the front deck because it was going down, and we drove it onto the shore as far as we could, but it was too big, and the back sunk into the water. So, but anyway, that was quite a day. And the second boat was a smaller boat, but it was a nice boat. Pulled it off, and there's 2 things about boats you got to remember here. Number 1, they sink if you have a hole in them. And I did, because I didn't put in the drain plug, which first thing you learn about boating. If there's a drain plug in this boat, no way do you put that boat in the water without the drain plug in. And of course, then when you bring the boat out, you want to pull the drain plug out. Now, you're supposed to be smart enough to put it in before you put it in on the trailer. Of course, I didn't, and many, many people have done this, but when I saw it was sinking, of course, you can't pull it back out again, so I just drove the trailer right back underneath it and pulled the trailer and the boat and everything out with about 4 feet of water in it, and took about an hour for it to all drain back out, and everybody laughed and had a great time. But we did not go fishing that day. We did not go anywhere that day because I was a very irritated boater. This is my boating hat, by the way. Next thing was really cool. Lisa was driving. Lisa was my deceased wife. She's my second wife. She's a great person. And she's driving for the first time, driving the big boat, monster boat, okay? And we're going down through the channel, headed for the lock system so we can go out into the lakes and stuff. And so I'm sitting in the back in the lawn chair, and on the back just watching the water go by, because she wanted to learn to drive, and she's doing a great job. I can see she's still in the channels between the buoys. That's a good thing. That's pretty impressive. She's at the right speed, probably trying about 12 to 15 miles an hour. When you crank this boat up, it would move. It would just scare you to death. And bottom line was, it's just going along at 12, 15 miles an hour. And then she starts yelling. So I thought, what the hell? So I jump up and I run up onto the pilot's deck, and I said, hey, what's wrong? And she goes, there's a boat coming. Now, we're traveling at 12 to 15 miles an hour in probably a 60 to 80 foot wide channel. And the boat that's coming is a speck on the horizon. Now, she drove the car to get there at 65 miles an hour with 14 feet in between cars, and she can't figure out what to do. Yeah. So I said, Lisi, you're normally driving 55 miles an hour, and you have 30 seconds to make a decision. The car's going to go by on the left. Don't you think that in, 5 to 10 minutes you could make a decision to be over on the right when it goes by? And then she looked at me like this, and she laughed, and she said, yeah, I could figure that out. So I went back and sat down, and then I decided to think about it, and I got back up and I stood right behind her when she went by that boat. And she was still scared to death, but she got better. It was fun watching her drive because it's fun to watch anybody drive. My son was really cool. He loved it a lot. And that was really neat. I loved watching him drive, although he loved to drive over on the other side of the buoys. Whereas we could sink the boat again because we hit the bottom and we kept saying, no, stay on this side of the buoy. And he would finally get it. Of course, he had to open up the throttles one day. And then we got pulled over for speeding. And the funny part was, we're looking all over for all the life vests. I know I got like 10 life vests on here, and I'm looking for a life vest for, and I got all the life vests counted, but there's one guy too many, or, children and family members, and I'm looking at, and I said, I don't know where the other life vest is, and this game warden style fishing sheriff says, you're wearing it. And I forgot, I'm the only boater in the whole world that wore a life jacket all the time. Because I cannot swim and I was petrified of the water, but I did love boating. So, wear your life jacket all the time because I fell out of a boat eventually. It was 2 years ago. I almost drowned. I had my life jacket on. The guy with me did not have it on. The boat capsized. Everything was lost. And I'm lucky I'm here. And I'm lucky he's here because I had to save his life. So the reality of it is, we'll talk about that at another time. But boating, I love boating. You would too. It's a great family thing. And you can, when I was told when I first started boating that you can put your boat in the water and go 10,000 miles without ever going to the same area again. That's how much water is connected for rivers and canals and lakes, at least in our area. And it's amazing life, amazing. There's restaurants up and down the channels. There's little towns. There's, always parks. There's always state docks to pull into, restaurant docks to pull into, gas stations that have stores in them. It was a fantastic weekend life. I would have done it forever. But when my wife came down with cancer, we needed money from every area we could get, and I sold the boat to help out with that situation. So, and I've never bought another one. All right, with that, I hope you like this because I enjoyed talking to you, as always. Thank you, friends. Love. And subscribe.